Welcome back, guys. We're going to do another drawing tutorial. I know my channel is mostly for painting, but in order to paint, you really need to learn how to draw if you're going to do something other than just landscape. So let's get started on this. I have our blank paper, and I have a cover, the plastic cover sheet that you have. They use in folders and stuff to protect the papers. They're just a page protector. On this, I used a fine point Sharpie marker, and I did 1-inch grids. I go down here and across here in 1-inch squares, and then I'll label them ABC across the top, 1, 2, 3, down to the side all the way to 10. And this makes it so that you can place your whatever it is you're going to draw in it, and it's not going to shift on your move and change your drawing. So I've taken this and put it, I'll put my drawing into it. But before I start that, my sheet here, for our purposes for learning, it's just copy paper, and it's also a little transparent, so it makes it easier to draw your grid. You can either measure it out just like you did on here, 1 inch, or as you see, you can place it right on top of what we've got going already, and you can see through it just enough to be able to go ahead and draw your grid. You can just place your ruler right on top of the grid, and when you draw these, do them very, very faint to where only you can see them, because you're going to have to erase all these lines before we shade. So do it very soft and very faint. If you use an H pencil, it goes on real soft. Okay? So for the purposes of the video, I went ahead and did my grid. I've got it drawn out already. And I did mine hard so that you could see it better. I noticed on my first video, because I did it soft, it was hard for you to see my grid. And then I've taken my picture and slid it in to my graph, my page protector. And I'm not going to do it this way, I'm going to do it this way. And the reason I'm doing that, even going upside down really helps. Because then you'll use the right side of your brain. The left side's going to tell you, oh, I know what a bird looks like, and it's going to try to draw this without staying within your grid. So if you turn it upside down or a different direction than what you're used to seeing something, it actually helps. All right, so we're going to start by seeing where this little guy starts. So we're going to begin in the first group of squares in C, between C and B, and on line 1. So over here, we're going to do it's a dot to dot, just like we learned as children. So we're in the C square, and where it touches the line here and here, here it's in the corner, here it's about halfway. So I'm going to put a dot where it ends up, where it touches. There's a dot here and here in the square. It's going to go up to about the tail, about right here. So now we're going to take this up, and we'll see how it has a little bit of a flare here. That's all that's in that square, so that's all we're going to draw here. Going to the next point, the next square. This is between box 1 and 2, line 1 and 2. And we're still on the C, between the B and the C. All right, so only concentrate on this part that we've already started drawing. It goes from there to this point here, a little less than halfway. So we'll put our line a little less than halfway, and we connect them. This side of it's going into between boxes C and D, and this is the second column here, second row of boxes. So it's coming from this corner. Again, this is midway, so it's going to be less than midway. And then we're going to take it from there. Okay, now back to this box. We don't want to forget these under feathers here. Where does it touch the line? About right here. So, and it goes down, aims down to here. Again, so it goes to about right here. And back. These are under feathers here. So now the next box down, we're going to continue this line. It touches this row, line 3, less than halfway. Let's finish that. This part touches over halfway. So then we will connect that. All right, now back over here, the next square over. It goes just shy of this corner, so I put a dot here for the back. The next square, about midway, put a dot. The next one, the next line is line E. It touches about midway again, and then about right here on line 5. So now I'm going to connect my dots. All right. Next one, how it dips down in between 5 and 6, and then it touches 6 line over halfway, and we have a dip down. So we'll go around, dip down, and then back up. All right. Now we're going up on line F. That's about right here where it touches. So we'll finish that. Okay. Now in between lines F, G, below the 6, in between 6 and 7, that's 6, that's 7, this is F, this is G. Okay, so now we need to mark on the G line where we're going to start the head, right there, and then it curves in and out and touches the 7 line about right there. All right, so now we're going to, this is all kind of a slant, and then it curves in. More curve than that, straight up and then curve. All right. Okay, now it comes up, this is midway. That's the height, right there, just below the line. Then it dips down on this line. This is line 8. Where does it touch line 8? About right there. So let's get this rest of this head in. And it's just dot to dots, just like as a child. Just what we learned as children in school. Okay, now it comes in between lines 8 and 9. This is second to the last row. This is midway, so we're below the middle, just below the middle where it dips in. This is middle of the square, just below it. That's where this ends up. All right, now the beak is going to touch here. So up and curve, go straight and then curve. And down into this one, and it comes back up. Now let's look right here, skirt that line, and just about here is where it's going to end for this. skirts. You see where it touches the line, and it goes out to about here. Then it comes back. And right in here is a little curve. All right, now let's get the bottom right there. All right, so now we have a beak, its eye, his eye, and this square. We're going to do a circle, and then we'll shade around real soft. And then the dark pupil. And we'll come back in here and do some shading in a moment. Okay, so now this touches this line about here, curves in here, comes back out to here. Let's bring this in a little further. All right, now look how it just curves up to here. Now you see the nice curve on the neck, and it comes up and meets the gill. The bill, sorry. Thinking of fish. All right. Now we're going to go to the next square. We've got this marked. Now we're going to this. The next one, which is D, is about right here. The next one, which is C, is here to here. Okay, so now we're going to turn the paper where it flows nicely with your hand. All right. Now we've got that. Okay, so now we're going to go to here. This is line 6. And it's about right here. Goes in between 5 and 6. This is going to end. Here's middle. So it's short of middle. Here. And then down here. And let's mark line B. Where it touches on this line. Alright, so first we're going to connect these. And it comes down to this one. This one. Where does it touch here? Just above mid. And the next line is 4. Touches just not halfway, it's less than halfway. Alright, so now let's connect all that. Okay, now let's finish our leg. He goes to here. This curves. You see how it curves back down? Alright, so the toe. And then we have one here. Get the claw. And then just bring your line and touch the neck. I don't do this straight because they have kind of lumpy little claws there. Alright, so now we have it all outlined. Let's mark where these feathers are going to go. We're on line 2 in between C and D. Line 2. Alright. So we're going to go right here. And then he comes and skirts that line. Right at this corner, which is 3, he dips down again. And then he starts coming up between 4 and 5. Back to the line. Okay. And then we have this one here. It's between line D and D. Line 4. D and D 4. We're going to start here and then bring it up just below that. Alright, so this is where we're going to be shading. Now we have all that. Alright, like I said, I did this dark for your purposes so you could actually see what I'm doing and where I'm putting my dots. Just stay within each square so you stay, so it'll come out looking exactly like you want it to. So there, we have the outline of our bird. Now for this video, I did a soft drawing of him so I could show you about the shading. Alright, now I want you to erase all your lines. Get all the lines out. We don't want any of the vertical, horizontal, any of those lines. And we're going to be using our shaders and our pencil. Okay, and this is you can use a 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are really soft, come on dark for us with not as much work, and we don't have to scar our paper. Alright, so we're going to be shading around the eye. So you see I just kind of outlined it real softly. I did not dig into the paper. And then I'm going to softly come up here and just go over that. And softly go around the eye. Alright, very soft. I'm going to take this and bring it up different. Right there. Really soft. Just give a little depth to that eye. Now the beak, I use more of the side. You'll see I don't do a lot this way. I try to use more of the side of the pencil. And I'm very softly etching some shade in there, going on top of my line. And of course the bottom beak's going to be more in the shade than the top. So I'm going to do this top part very softly. I'm barely touching the paper with my shader so that it comes out darker. Lighter on the top and darker on the bottom. Alright. Okay, another part of shading. You see how I'm holding my pencil. If you drop it and pick it back up, that's how you should be holding it. Use your finger to guide. So I'm gently putting some shade in under here. Just kind of going back and forth here. Now, back to my little shading stump. Okay. So we've got that. Alright, now we're going to do a little shading. I haven't done anything else here. I haven't added any. I'm just using my shading stump so it doesn't come on too terribly strong. Going along here. And then very softly, feather touch in here. Okay, now along this breast and under here we have a shaded area. So again, just use the, kind of scribble some color in here. Get it darker down here. Okay, now below here, right in this area, first we're gonna make our feathers. You just swoop up, touch that one, come down and up, touch, come down and up. Yeah. Forgot I was doing it on top of that. I got a line in there I didn't want. Okay, now up under here you're going to have a little darker shade. I'm going to outline with the side of my pencil, get some shade under it. Okay. Alright, so now we've got the top one done. Now we're going to work on the bottom one. Again, use the side here. Just like up here. Don't bring them straight up and down. They're going towards, aim towards the breast or the neck area and the breast, right in here. This is about where you want to aim, so you don't go up and down. Let's do that. Alright, now we get my shadow going underneath. Okay, now back to our blending stump, little shading stump. I'll go right along the edge first, so that'll be my darkest area. Then I can bring it up. All the way up. A few more lines up here. Okay, so now we have 2 layers of our wings. Now the tail, it's a lot darker. Okay. You see I did a lot of lines on this, so I could get a little bit darker. And again, the blending stump's going to do all your shading for you there. Alright, now we have the ones underneath. They're lighter. Alright. I don't put as much pressure on it now because I want these lighter. Alright, so there's 3 steps there. Now for the leg. We're going to shade the back part Remember, drop your pencil, pick it up, and that's how you're going to hold it. If you have a certain picture at home you want to do this to, take and print it out in black and white, put it in your sleeve protector. The black and white, when you print it out that way, is going to show you exactly where your darkest and lightest areas are, and it will definitely help. When you're beginning, it's really hard to keep up with these different values if it's in color. Okay. I'm going to go across the front. Very soft on the front and hard on the back. Hard on the bottom. Soft above it. Okay, now the ground, so that our bird's not like floating. How we do, very gently. We have our ground, and then I'm just going to soften it with my blending stump just a little bit. And then come in and erase any of these spots that your hand missed or you got out of line. And then you sign it and it's done. I hope that helps. Enjoy. If you want a copy of this, please just let me know in comments, and I'll give you email, and I will send it to you through an email. Or if you veterans, you guys know me, just ask for it and I'll send it over to you. Okay? Have a great day. Thank you.